Morning, everyone. And hi, Cora. I think you are the only person who's here so far. And also, for the first time ever, I have not received any questions in advance of this session. I'm going to double check while I'm talking to you, just to make sure I haven't missed any in Mighty Networks. But I think I don't have any questions. So Cora, if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, you could either come on screen or turn on your mic or put it in the chat and we can talk.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Hi. No, initially I didn't have any question in that way, but I actually wonder because I was just finishing taking my antibiotics because on my fertility report I found out I had this moderate uterine this infection.
Yep.
So I just finished today.
And you did 10 days or 2 weeks of doxycycline?
It was only 7 days, actually, I believe. 21 tablets. Yes, 7 days.
Of doxycycline?
Oh, yeah, it was a mix of, yeah, I don't remember the name now because actually I threw out the box, but it was like this, yeah. Yeah, so we're just wondering if I should do a new test or something at some point because I also was very low on the levels of lactobacillus or something. Yeah. Yeah.
So generally speaking, I would say that we don't recommend retesting with Fertilysys immediately after completing the treatment. That could be different depending upon different circumstances. So if you are if you coach directly with Amy or if you coach with Heather, you could still check in with them because they'll know more about the specific details of your case. But in most cases, we're not going to recommend that you retest now. Now, antibiotics are strong, antibiotics kill things, and these are pretty low level sort of infections, meaning they're not things that you're experiencing symptoms from other than the sort of fertility related symptomology that we know is connected to these, but you're not having fevers, you're not having pain, you're not having discharge, you're not having those kinds of physical symptoms. And that's partly because there's not a raging infection in most cases of really high levels of these things. Even when it says that it's a high level. So the antibiotics are usually sufficient to treat it. For the lactobacillus, you were probably recommended one or a combination of 2 probiotics that you weren't taking before. And I would keep taking those for the long term. Lactobacillus is the most common sort of good bacteria strain. It's definitely the one that has been studied for the longest, and it's in the most probiotics. And it's also sort of the most easy to get from food because it's in fermented foods. So I taking those probiotics for the longer term is going to be totally healthy and fine for you. Were you given a vaginal probiotic?
Yeah, I was also giving, if I had a reaction with the, of the antibiotics, but I normally I haven't been on antibiotics a lot of times, but maybe 2-3 times before my life, and then I had a reaction. But this time I've been very good in taking the probiotics 2-3 hours before I took the antibiotics and after. And
that's like a Metro gel or something like that given to you by the doctor in case you had a yeast infection after taking the antibiotics?
Yeah, so that one I have, but
I
haven't had, no, I really, and that was also my second question, if you think I should do it now just in case, or just let it be, because I didn't have any reaction.
Have access to your charts and I can look at your fertility. Let me see. Do you coach with Amy directly or others? Let me see if I can look it up. right.
So put on my camera. It's just you and me here. It's a little bit.
This is taped, so like other people will watch it after the fact, but okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
So let's see. Now I'm looking at your chart and I am looking for your fertilizers.
Yeah.
I don't have access to it because you're not my patient. So I can see that it's in there, but I can't access it.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. But I think
so,
that's what's like that was the, yeah.
So what I would say is like, if you don't have any symptoms, you probably, any itchy, burny, discomforty feeling or any weird discharge, you probably don't need the Metrogel. If your fertilizers results had a high level of bacteria in the vaginal swab as well as in the uterine results, then I would potentially do it just to like make sure everything is taken care of.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking just to do it because I have it and
and it's the treatment, going along with the antibiotics, and it's nice to do it all at once, and it's more likely that you won't need to repeat it. So what's the next thing that you're doing? Are you like trying naturally? Are you prepping for a transfer? Are you
naturally?
Yeah. Okay. So I think there's probably no reason to retest the fertilizers right now.
Yeah.
It's something we might retest at the end of like a 6 or 12-month period after you've done you've continued to try and you've done all kinds of other things. We might go back and retest it again at some point. If you were to have any kind of chemical pregnancy or like early loss or anything, I think we'd want to retest it again. But for the most part, or if you were doing IVF, so for other girls, like if you had a transfer that wasn't successful, those would be things where we'd start to think about that there might be a reason to retest, because these infections, I always think the best way to describe kind of like why they happen is because it's kind of scary to think that you have this infection in your uterus that you didn't know about, right? They are almost entirely infections that come from little bacteria that we have heard of because they like are involved in food poisoning and UTIs. Like they're very common bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli and like Gardnerella and things like that. So they're around in our universe all the time with us. They're always in our bodies a little bit. And what really happens is that something kind of happens inside the uterus where the immune system is kind of like temporarily kind of like knocked off its game. And then this little bacteria that's already there can grow kind of opportunistically. So once you start having these events like a chemical pregnancy or a pregnancy loss or something, those are events that can destabilize the immune system temporarily. And then that can lead to like another infection happening, as opposed to sort of like this infection not having been resolved. And
because I think I felt that something was wrong after my IVF, after egg collection.
You didn't feel right?
No, it was just very often I've been very, not bloated, but like swollen, and my cycle has been like, I didn't really bleed. So now I just had my menstruation here a couple of days or last week, and then it was normal again. So that was good.
Was that like the second period after the retrieval cycle or third one?
Third.
Yeah. It's for some people being on those medications that cause you to be, to have really high levels of hormones that are usually at lower levels is destabilizing to the immune system. And for some people it's not, but most people, it takes them 1 or 2, sometimes 3 months to kind of feel they're back to being themselves again. And when
Yeah.
girls do back-to-back retrievals, or they do retrievals like a month apart, they do one, take a cycle off, do one, take a cycle off, they can not always feel like themselves through the whole experience. The
Yeah.
bloating and like the water
Yeah.
weight and
Yeah, I have so
also
much
the
water
changes
in
in
my
next cycle.
body.
Yeah.
I have so much water in my body still. I hope that will go
Yep.
down now after the antibiotics. But yeah, it's almost, yeah, it's 4 months. But it also I was on very high medication. And I also think like with the egg collection, they poked around a little bit and
Yeah.
maybe some of the infection comes from that. I don't know. But yeah, it really felt my body's been very much off since
Sorry.
that IVF. So that's also why I want to try naturally now, because I also felt that the whole procedure was very standard. I would just want a number, and because of my age and my previous history, I was just put on very high medication, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
Yeah.
Part of why we retain water, why we feel like we're so not bloated in our bellies, although there too, is that pregnancy requires a lot more water than not being pregnant. So when those
Yeah.
hormone levels rise in
Oh.
our bodies naturally, that's usually part of being pregnant, and they don't usually rise that high outside of pregnancy. And so also stimulating the ovaries to make more follicles. If you have 2 or 3 big follicles, or if you have 10 or 12 or 15 or more big follicles, it's those follicles in our bodies in a natural cycle are
Yeah.
designed to push out hormones after the egg has been ovulated. So you grow a follicle, and then the egg is released from it during ovulation, and then that follicle stays in the ovary, and it starts to put out estrogen, progesterone. It starts to put out hormones that support implantation and early pregnancy. And one of the very first things that those elevated levels of hormones cause us to do is to retain water. So when girls get pregnant, one of the first things that is like a feeling in your body that goes with early pregnancy is that feeling of being bloated and retaining water. So when you get stimulated in an IVF cycle and there's a lot of follicles that grow, your body is being given a lot of extra hormones. It interprets a lot of those messages as needing to retain water in order to be prepared for pregnancy. Because during pregnancy, in addition to like people being made mostly out of water and like a placenta and amniotic fluid and all of that being water, a girl's blood volume, the amount of blood you have in your body, almost doubles during pregnancy.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't happen overnight, but it does.
Yeah.
It happens. So there's a lot of reasons why we need water. So don't feel like there's something bad going on in your body, that your body has retained this water. Like your body just got a lot of messages that it was gonna need it, and now it's having to like change that message and sort of shift and like take it out.
Yeah, because if my body feels and looks very different now, so it's very
the world
not
acts
used
like
to
an
it.
IVF cycle is no big deal. And on one hand, I think it's good for us to think of it that way, in the sense that like we should allow ourselves to do it. We should, not be afraid of it and everything, but it is not no big deal. Like it does have an impact on the body.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
So this was my third. So the 2 first times they missed my ovulation, so it didn't lead to anything. But then my the medicine or the injections was very low, so I didn't have that same kind of reaction. It was much better, but this last time it was like over double. So yeah.
Missing the ovulation is really, really, really disappointing. So they were able to retrieve eggs this time. That's good.
But it was empty or what. So we retrieved one. So the last time in end of February. But I produced like 8 or something, and then there was 4, and then they retrieved 2. One of them was couldn't be used, another one didn't develop. But I think like it was not the right time for me at that point, and a lot of the work that I've been doing now, and yeah, yeah, I just think that that was not the way for me. Yeah.
And the higher stim cycle, you know, it's science, but it's also art. There will be some
Mm,
women who will respond well to a high stim cycle. It isn't a bad thing
mm,
per se, but when you are retrieving a smaller number of eggs like that, uh, one of the things that is often the case with a lower stim cycle is that you might not be
mm,
tracking 8 follicles, you might be tracking 4 follicles or 5 follicles, but towards the end, there were only 4 follicles that they thought they could retrieve eggs from, and then they only
yeah,
retrieved 2. And so the lower amount of medication, especially a
mm,
girl who feels a lot of side effects from it, I always think that's like one sign
yeah,
too. Like sometimes that can result in those 2 eggs that are retrieved both being able to fertilize and being capable of
yeah,
progressing further. So if you were to do
yeah,
another cycle in the future, I'm sure you'll talk to Amy about it, but like
yeah,
having a doctor, having a practice, a clinic that would be
yeah,
open to different ways of medicating you might be better, might get better results.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I'm open for IVF again in the future, but yeah, in a more tailored way and a more, you know, thoughtful and more studied way, you know. So now I'm still waiting for my results on the Dutch test and the GI map. So that's going also to be exciting to see what that shows, and
Yeah,
maybe there's some more stuff coming up, and yeah, who knows. So it's yeah, good to know what's going on.
really good. Yeah, the Dutch test and the GI map you'll go over with Carrie, I think, or no, I guess Amy goes over them with you, but the GI map usually results in some interesting things, and they are
Yeah, I
connected
heard.
to the results of the fertilizers because they're looking
Mm,
at the same bacteria plus a whole lot of other ones, but in your gut instead of
yeah,
your vagina and your uterus. And so there will be some connections there, and some of what you do to treat whatever comes up on the GI map is going to be supportive of maintaining this like no infection situation in the uterine lining and the vagina. So that like that
yeah,
would be really good. It's always good to layer those things. There can
yeah,
be a lot of supplements in order to treat the GI stuff depending upon what comes up, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But that's fine with me because I've been doing. I started to with my food and what I drink, uh, and my whole, you know, food science journey. I started yeah, over 2 years ago already. So I'm excited to see the results of that, of course,
Yeah.
and I hope that it has made an impact. All the work and all the supplements, and you know,
Do you feel good? Like
yeah,
with the changes that you made? I always think that's the first good sign.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was, I was put a little bit off balance with the IVF.
Yeah.
Of course, it's yeah, shook everything up a little bit, but now I'm starting to feel better again. But yeah,
Good.
mm,
Really good. Yeah,
yeah,
IVF it's a tool, right? Like, and
yeah,
we are happy to have as many tools as possible in our toolbox, so that we can pick them up and choose to use them in order to get where we're trying to go, which is, you know, bringing home a baby.
yeah,
But it like any event in our bodies, like a pregnancy, a miscarriage, um,
mm,
an IVF cycle where all of our hormones are changed so much and the functioning of our reproductive system moves towards pregnancy and everything. It you
mm,
feel it like it has an impact.
yeah,
It takes a few months to get over.
yeah. And I've been very, my body awareness has been very, um, you know, it's been very involved the last 3 years because I've been really, you know, listening to my body, and did a lot of mind body work, and now with all my nutrients and stuff. So
Now you feel every change
yeah,
more. Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
I really feel everything. Yeah. So so it was also like with the fertility test coming back that I actually had an infection. I was like, I knew it. I said it. So it was also like a confirmation on
And
how
I
well you can learn your body to, yeah.
now that you've finished the antibiotics, because it's so close to this period that just started, like maybe it won't show as much of an impact in this one, but it is often the case that your period will return to feeling like it's the healthy, larger amount of blood that you were used to,
Yeah.
before the IVF.
Yeah, I just had that, and that was very good. That was like it always have been.
Yeah.
So that was felt very good. Yeah. Yeah. So
Really?
hmm.
It looks beautiful where you are, like all sunny and.
Yeah, I'm in Norway, so we are always here
Oh,
in July.
are you in a
So
summer house?
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's you call it the archipelago. I'm very bad pronouncing it, but it's like in the south coast. I can show you, and it's a lot of islands, and there are these old Norwegian houses on these islands. So people lived here all year, before, but now it's summer houses, and it's
Summer house.
in down in generations.
Yeah.
And so you have different sizes. So some have been like the fisherman, and then the captain, and then the owner of a bigger boat. So you have like,
I lived
but it's
in
very
Denmark.
beautiful.
I lived in
Oh,
Denmark. I speak Danish, and
okay.
my Danish family has a summer house in Denmark. So, like, I
Oh
know
yeah.
the summer house culture in Scandinavia.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
look at that! That is
Yeah,
gorgeous.
my boyfriend is from Denmark. So I lived in Copenhagen for 20 years
Oh,
almost. But it's very different Norway, because
yeah,
Denmark is very flat. And for a
yeah,
Norwegian, we are like, you don't have nature in Denmark. It's a little bit harsh to say, but compared to
yeah.
Norway, because we have mountains, and we have fjords, and we have, you know,
Denmark is very
woods,
small and very
flat.
similar everywhere. Yeah, there's much more different variation.
Yeah,
You can ski and you can, yeah,
yeah.
everything
Yeah,
in.
and Norwegians are very much in the nature. So like here it's a very Norwegian place. Like nobody, everybody's here in the summer, like 4 weeks, and then they open up the house those 4 weeks, and then they close them down again, and then are on the mountains in the winter. So it's very, very seasonal and very short, because the summer in Norway is
Sure.
very short.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's also what how makes it so precious,
But
because
you also have sun for a really long time. Like the day is
yeah,
long, so at least
very.
your short summer, you have long days. Yeah,
Yeah, the sun goes down maybe a couple of hours.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love that in Denmark. Yeah, I lived in Copenhagen.
yeah.
I did 1 year of college in Copenhagen, and I did
Oh,
one
yeah.
year when I was in high school. I lived in Ballerup, outside of.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I also was a student in Copenhagen. It's really a great city when
yeah,
you're young. It's a very, and especially now, it's really become a fantastic city. The food
yeah.
scene is amazing, and it's very safe, you
Yeah.
know, a
And the
lot of
people are great.
trust, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Danish people are fun.
Do you have any other questions or anything that I can like answer
No,
for
not
you,
for
or
now.
anything else
Thank you
on
so
your
much
mind?
for helping me with, yeah,
You're so welcome. I'll be here,
yeah,
so if you think of anything else, pop back in. I'll stay for the whole
okay,
hour because sometimes people pop
yeah,
in at the end.
yeah, later
Yeah,
on. Okay,
absolutely. It's nice talking
thank
to
you so
you.
much.
Ha det
Yeah, you
gott.
too. Thank you.
Bye
Yeah,
bye.
bye. Yeah, ha det gott. Bye.
Oh, that was fun. Talking to someone who lives in Norway and speaks Norwegian, because I lived in Denmark in high school and in college. And I was young enough. I moved there for a year of high school when I was 15. So even though I had been really horrible at languages in high school in America, I learned Danish very quickly, only in maybe like I got there in July, and by Christmas I spoke Danish fluently because I was in Danish school with Danish kids all day long. All my classes were in Danish. My family members spoke Danish around the house, everything. So I'm very lucky that I learned another language very easily. And then for some reason, I'm extremely lucky that even though it's a million years ago, I still remember it. I can still speak it fluently and read it and watch TV in it and everything. So I like, you know, Denmark has a warm place in my heart. I go there as often as I can, and I'm still very close with my host family there. And Norway and Sweden, it's like very connected, even if they're not entirely the same. They have a really great work-life balance compared to America. And that taking 4 weeks off and going to a summer house and really just decompressing, that is something that I really wish that was part of our culture in America, that like it was expected that everybody would do it. You know, so many jobs here, even if you have 4 or 5 or 6 weeks of vacation, they would never accept someone taking 4 weeks in a row, especially not every single year, especially not every single person every single year. And I think it's bad. I think we should be, you know, advocating for that type of time with your family and time to decompress from your job and time to, like, you know, spend time with your partner and try to make a baby and like all of these things that we talk about all the time, to cook food and to eat seasonal food and to get sun and fresh air and you know, the outdoors and everything. Like they also have really good maternity leave policies, and I know some of you are international and you know, aren't in the United States, and so hopefully some of you live in countries like Norway where there are really good maternity leave policies. Here in the US, they're pretty bad. Even if you have a good policy at a job that you have, you know, it's dependent on your employer to decide what they're going to give you. And a good policy tends to be 3 or 4 months. And occasionally we see maybe 6 months, but usually some of that is unpaid, or you know, it's difficult. And I can say from having had friends and family in Denmark have a year of maternity leave, that it's really good for the mama and the baby and the family, and the business survives. There's no problem. They don't have any negative impact to their economy because they have long maternity leaves. Yeah, it's something that I wish that we had here, and I think we should all be advocating for real. Because of course, babies are very important, as we all know, and mothers are very important, as we all know. And there's just a ton of pressure put on you guys, like from beginning to end of this process of trying to have a baby. There's too much pressure put on. You're not as supportive as you should be. And then it changes, and it's good because obviously your baby is with you, but you know, we continue that problem. We continue that choice not to support women and men, you know, women especially, but families in general. We don't support people in raising families, in, you know, having time to spend together and to take care of each other and everything. And so I wish that all of us lived in Norway or had Norwegian lifestyles, something like that. So I'm checking the Mighty Networks just to see if anyone has asked any questions. I think the reason no one asked questions for this is that the link didn't get posted till yesterday, but also I think it's high summer and everyone is like on vacation. So let's see. Any other questions? Nothing in Mighty Network. So I actually saw there was a question. Camilla asked in the feed, not for this. She asked, does anyone know what blue light glasses AIMEE recommends? And she said she saw it somewhere and she can't recall what the brand was. I actually don't remember the brand that AIMEE specifically recommends, but I don't think the brand matters a lot. I think that these are blue light glasses that you can see the little like blue reflection. You can get them on Amazon. You can get the treatment put on by your optician. I'm Googling to see. Here we go. In 2023, she recommended Baxter Blue. And then she also recommended, let's see, let me click on this link and see. There's a page on the website that is recommended supplements and products. And so there's a link on here, I think, to blue light glasses. So give me 1 second to scroll down and I will find it. Yes. Okay, there's 3 of them. And if you, actually what I did was Google AIMEE Raup blue light glasses, but the page is titled AIMEE'S recommended supplements and products. And it's got like a video at the top and it's where you can like purchase the fertility basics kit and the fertility starter kit, which are like some supplements and books and things. And then it's where she has recommendations for like the different types of bone broth and gluten-free bread and like places to get good quality animal proteins. She lists like Mira and Uva, and this is where you'd find all the discount codes for all the things that we have discount codes for. And if you scroll down on the right-hand side, past bath, beauty and household products and fertility books, you get to other recommended products. And the last thing on that list is blue light blocking glasses. And there are 3 there with links. One is Meet Sun, one is I can't pronounce it, CYXUS, Cy6, and one is Baxter. And Baxter has a code for 15% off. So I think it like, there will be many other brands that will also be good quality. You just want to read up on the brand that you choose to make sure that it's a reputable company that is, you know, making a reputable product, like that it's not just some kind of like, you know, garble of letters together, kind of like, you know, all the products on Amazon where you are looking for something and there's like 15 different versions of exactly the same product and they all have like just these kind of random nonsense names. Like I would avoid blue light glasses that come from China that way, just because there's very little connection between who you're buying it from and who actually made it. And this is like a product that you're putting on your eyes. But otherwise, I think you're fine, and they don't need to cost a ton of money. And your optician can put the blue light treatment on any glasses that you get if you have a prescription too. So hopefully that helps. I would put it into the chat, but I don't think the chat gets recorded as part of the recording. You can't access it. So even if I put it in there, you wouldn't see it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I use this page actually pretty often in order to make sure that I like am able to supply people with discount codes and things like that. Yeah, so let's see. I'll look for more questions. Jenna said, she's traveling to Texas for work in August and wondering if anyone has suggestions for snacks to take with me, any single packet bone broth recommendations. She's going to be sitting in trainings all day long. So Jackie shared with her our snack list, which is a really great list. It has a ton of packaged food brands. So it has things that are really portable, like Epic bars and Epic bites, and on the go broth packets from Beauty in the Broth. Grotto has single packets for bone broth also. Then there are things like apple chips and sardines and sweet potato chips and beef sticks and plantain chips and just all kinds of stuff, freeze-dried blueberries. There's also some kombucha, and then it also has a list of easy to prepare things. So if you have a limited kitchen and limited equipment and things like that, and you can click on each of those links and get the recipe. So when we send you the link to this, and then there's some additional stuff for like people who can tolerate nuts and beans. And then there's a whole list just of brands in general. And that like the list of brands is, you know, it's larger, but we're not necessarily able to like tell you that every single product on that list is going to meet your needs. Just that these are brands that you can look within and expect to find some of their products that will meet your needs. Let's go back and see if there's other questions that people have posted. This one has probably been answered. Miranda says that they moved to the suburbs and they have tons of bugs like mosquitoes and ants, and she wants safer pest control. She's scared to add chemicals in the home. So when you're looking for safer pest control, you have to be conscious that what's safe for humans may not necessarily be safe for dogs. What's safe for dogs may not necessarily be safe for cats, etc. So like if you have animals in your family, you have to be checking that you're looking for something that's healthy for humans and the type of animals that you have. And if you have people who bring animals around your house, like bring their dog over even though you don't have a dog, you need to check that too. One of the things that you can use for like ants and stuff is diatomaceous earth. It will not work for flying bugs, but it will work for crawling bugs. It is a powder that's made from fossilized algae, and it kills any crawling bug that comes in contact with it because it's extremely dry, and it like causes them to dehydrate, like their little exoskeletons, their hard crunchy outsides. So it doesn't work instantly, but it does work pretty well. And they just need to like touch it, kind of like walk through it. So you kind of like sprinkle a little layer of it in the areas where you see them. And you do have to repeat putting it down. So let's Google if it's safe for, I think diatomaceous earth is safe for dogs and cats. Yes, it's safe as long as you use food grade diatomaceous earth, not pool grade, because it's apparently used in pools. Another thing that you can use for, again, not for flying bugs, is so Dr. Bronner's peppermint oil soap. This is safe for dogs, not safe for cats, because peppermint oil is toxic for cats. but it does appear to be safe for dogs. You can mix the Dr. Bronner's peppermint oil soap with water in a spray bottle, and you can spray bugs like cockroaches or earwigs or like other creepy crawly things from far away. And it also is like a neurotoxin or something, so it kills them. Let me look up how it works. So let's see, the soap, again, it's like it messes with their shells or like their outsides. This is better for softer bugs, they say, like aphids, spider mites, white flies, because the soap disrupts their outsides, and then it also causes dehydration and stuff. But I know, unfortunately, from personal experience, that it also kills cockroaches. And this works faster, in my experience, than the diatomaceous earth. You put the diatomaceous earth down on the ground, and then you have to like wait for the bugs to walk through it. This, I have put it in a spray bottle, because back in 2018, I had, in my old apartment building in Brooklyn, I had what I call the cockroach apocalypse of 2018. The woman living in the apartment below me was like a hoarder, and it was, I mean, oh my God, I've lived through bad, like worse stuff since then, like my brother being hospitalized for like half the year in 2021 and my mother passing away in 2022. And those are certainly worse things, but really and truly living above a hoarder and having there be like an unclean situation that I had no control over at all. Like I packed my whole kitchen up into plastic bins and stacked them up other places in the apartment, and like didn't use the kitchen except as like minimally as possible for more than 6 months, because I was there, it was just so bad. Like it didn't matter what I did, what the exterminator did, whatever. But I could take the Dr. Bronner's peppermint Castile soap and mix it with water and put it in a spray bottle. And if I saw a bug, I could spray it from several feet away and it would die. So I also have cats. I used it anyway because then I didn't just leave it lying around. If I sprayed it and I killed a bug, then I would clean it up. So even, I wouldn't normally choose to use something that was dangerous for my cats around them, but the situation was like, it was unmanageable. I needed to have something, and I wasn't going to use toxic chemicals either. So those are two things. For mosquitoes, I think you're in the land of citronella candles, and they have some pretty good, they're gross sounding, but those like bug zapper light things that attract the mosquito in your yard and try to like kill it off. And then there are quite a few things you can put on your body, not just like Avon Skin So Soft, I think is a really good, it does have some chemicals in it, like from a beauty perspective, but comparing it to DEET or one of the like chemicals that is, strong in a bug spray, it doesn't have those types of chemicals. But they also have some like watch band type things that will have something like scented in them or something that is a repellent. And I think they also have some electric, like I'm gonna have to Google this because I live in the city, so I do go to Connecticut and spend a lot of time outdoors there, but I usually, because of ticks and things in Connecticut, if I'm out in the garden, I'm usually wearing long pants with like long socks and my pants tucked into my socks and long sleeves and a hat and everything. So I'm usually so bundled up that a mosquito isn't going to get me unless I'm like at the beach or something. But let me look up. I think they make like electronic pulse stuff for mosquitoes. Let me see. And I have no idea how that works. I would have to like do research on whether those ultrasonic electric waves are safe during pregnancy, etc. Let's see. But they do have a variety of things. Yep. So they're saying you should not use these electric pulse things during pregnancy. That's what I was afraid. Anyway. But there are some things like that that you can plug into your wall. And maybe that is something that's safer. Let's see. If I say electronic pulse plug in. The ones that plug into the wall, it suggests that, you know, they are suggested that they are harmless to humans and safe during pregnancy. But again, I would be doing some research on which brand you buy and thinking about, you know, which one and what the company says about how they have tested it and whether it is safe or not. Yeah, that's a real pain having. I know these bugs actually all are like beneficial. They're all pollinators of some kind, but I love bees and I don't enjoy being stung by bees, but they almost never sting. I enjoy being around bees. I really don't like any other bugs at all. So, and it is funny how different it is. We have certain types of bugs in a city environment, and then it's like a whole different thing in the suburbs. All right. I don't think there are any other questions in here that aren't specifically asked during different Q&As. I'm just making a note for Camilla that I answered her blue light question. And I'll do the same thing with Miranda's question too. What's today's date? The 12th. So leaving the comment for Jenna too, and then I'll leave it for Miranda. It's nice to know that these like beautiful summer months are when you guys are you know, less likely to show up and have a ton of questions, because it means that we are living that like Norwegian life as much as we can. And everyone is kind of having a little bit of a vacation and relaxing. So at least I hope that that's most of what's happening here. So I think I'll look back. I think the questions from previous sessions, I've answered all of them. I am doing a master class in a couple of weeks. Let me look at the schedule and see when that is that I'm doing it. I do this master class, I think not next week, the following week. I have a lot of work to do to prepare for it. Yeah, I'm scheduled to do it on Thursday, the 24th of July. And the master class subject, let me pull that up, is I create a lot of work for myself when I choose the subjects of these master classes, because I keep choosing them based on like the questions that we get asked. So that's good, right? I'm not complaining about that. The last one I did was really heavy. It was about pregnancy loss, recovery, next steps, etc. But the one that I'm going to do this month is about understanding irregular cycles while trying to conceive. So I think that's going to be a really good master class that will answer a bunch of questions. And then later in the year, I'm going to do one on IVF preparation, expectations, next steps, etc. But in the end of July, it'll be about understanding your cycle, understanding what it means when something irregular happens in your cycle while you're trying to conceive, kind of like how to know what the different irregularities mean, how to try to figure out what they're caused by, how to understand how serious they are, because of course you're going to take everything seriously, but there's a difference between kind of like something being important to you and something being like important in all capital letters, like this is a sign of something bad. So like trying to help you guys to be able to parse that out, and then also to be able to understand or make predictions and, you know, have expectations about, for instance, starting a new retrieval cycle or a transfer cycle, or trying naturally, you know, when you might be going on vacation or there might be business travel or whatever, and your cycle suddenly has changes in it, and you don't really know what it means. So I'm going to be doing that in a couple of weeks. I have to start prepping for it next week because I did not get to it this week. Yeah, I got tons and tons of emails from you guys over the 4th of July. So I'm a little surprised that people seem to be on vacation today, but I'm not mad at it at all. I think it's good for us all to have like a little bit of a chill time. But you guys were super active over that 4th of July weekend. So I definitely had a lot of questions that came in by email, and I'm still working my way through all of those emails. Yeah, so it's taking me a little longer than usual, which I apologize for. And we've also had, you know, always happens, but I answer emails in the order that I receive them. I try to answer certain ones that are like really short and that are like admin or booking related, or, you know, something like that really quickly. But then I also, I've had a couple of people who are newly pregnant, and there's like a flurry of contacts and, you know, recommendations and like all kinds of things. And then of course we always have a few things that are not as happy. Like I have a girl who's been spotting during her early pregnancy, and then another girl whose pregnancy has not continued, and like that also requires more attention. So it's been pretty busy outside of this session, but hopefully answering these questions has been helpful. So we have a few more minutes before this ends. I'm gonna just make notes on the questions that I answered in my little spreadsheet. And then I will wrap it up. And I hope that I will see more of you in person in the future. And it was really lovely to talk to Cora today and to see that gorgeous Norwegian landscape. That made me really both jealous and like also feel like I was home in a way. Right. All right, guys. I will see you all soon. I hope everyone is having a good summer and enjoying the lovely weather wherever you are. Bye.